Hey everyone, Leo with the Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our Father's Day wine bottle wrapper. Now I have all of my pieces in front of me here. I'm sure that Dad would enjoy a bottle of wine, or maybe even a bottle of champagne for Father's Day. He could be an IPA guy like myself, or unfortunately I don't think that this would actually fit around a liter of hard liquor, but you could probably put it on one of these smaller bottles. But today we're going to be doing a wine bottle, and this one is actually odd shaped. It's kind of tapered a little bit, so it's a little bit thicker at the top, shorter at the bottom, but it'll still work. The back is going to look a little funky, but that's okay. I mean, it's a quick little gift and doesn't need to be perfect. You probably will not run into this if you are using a traditional wine bottle that is not tapered. But anyway, we have here the main little sheet. And what we're going to do with this is actually take this and wrap it around the bottle. Now notice when I do this that because this bottle is tapered, the seams will not join perfectly together. I'm wrapping it as tight as I can go, okay, and that's what it looks like. But you know what? It doesn't matter because the front still looks great. And technically, I guess what we could do, and we'll test this out before we finalize it, but we could technically, and if you're using a straight bottle, you'll definitely be able to do that with a straight bottle, and that is cover the seam with the tie. Okay, so I'm just taking my finger, running my finger along the very edge of one of the sides. This is the side that we're going to put the glue on. Make sure it's nice and tight, and just grab the other side and pop it right on top, like so. Again, if you're using a straight bottle, a non-tapered bottle, this should meet perfectly, so you won't have this little angle here. If you want to get really detailed here, as I like to call it, I tend to get a little OCD with things from time to time. You could technically take a X-Acto knife or a little razor blade, and you could cut off the excess up here if you want. And this is just kind of, you know, getting into perfection mode here. But it's not totally necessary. And then you can take this one here and just kind of just trim it. Don't have to do it, but again, if you're concerned about that, you can definitely kind of trim it and clean it up. Okay, so that's how the wrapper goes on. Now let's take a look at the other elements. We have a tie, obviously, and we've got the little stripes for the tie. So this little piece here is going to go right on top to give the tie a little dimensional sort of feel to it. So we're going to put some glue on this. You don't need a lot. I probably overdid it a little bit. I just opened up this glue bottle. That's probably why. Okay, just match this up with the top little triangle, almost triangle. It's like a trapezoid. Okay, make sure it's nice and flush at the top, press that down, and then we just have a series of little stripes here. And this one here is going to go right there. We want that to be butted up against this piece here, nice and flush, and then obviously flush along the left-hand side. Now I did ink these little pieces as well, just on the sides that hit the actual perimeter of the tie. Okay, because I obviously inked the entire perimeter of the blue part of my tie. Make sure that's nice and flush with the left side for that one. Okay, then we're going to take this long strip here, and this does have a series of little markers to help you with the placement of each of these little pieces. Okay, so you just want to make sure this one here is going to go between these two sets of markers. And let's get our glue on here, nice and easy. You don't need a lot. It's a very, very small little piece. You don't need a lot of glue for that. Just be careful when you put this down. Make sure you have it lined up correctly before you commit to putting it down. And there we go, just like that. That looks spot on. We do have a larger This is apricot, AC apricot piece. That's going to go right there. Throw a little bit of glue on the back of this. Okay. Oh, by the way, we also have a print-a-cut element that you'll notice for this tag that says Happy Father's Day. You're welcome to use that. You'll find that in your extras folder. If you don't want to use that, if you have a stamp or if you want to just write it yourself, you can do that as well, whichever method you prefer. But know that we did include a print-a-cut element for you. And then finally, this little guy is going to go right here. You'll also notice that there are a series of little markers there for this piece, and that's just to make the tie not so plain. And obviously you can customize this with whatever color or pattern you want. You can kind of like play dress up with a bottle of wine. Me and you going on this date tonight, bottle of wine, and you're gonna dress up for me. Okay, there we go. All right, so there's our tie. And the way this is going to work, so if you have, and if you are using a bottle that is not tapered, what you can do to make this look really precise is glue the tie right on top of the seam, like so, okay? That's optional. You can totally do that if you want. Because again, it's kind of, it's not totally straight. I like this side better, so, and it's nice and straight at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down like so. And I'm only going to put glue on, let me see here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start to kind of curve this a little bit and just fold it so that we can start kind of shaping it around the bottle. Okay, you don't need to go all out here, just a little bit will do the job. Okay, and I'm going to put glue on this, and this is going to get glued down flat, and I'm just going to put it on the little neck part of the tie. That goes just under the Adam's apple. Okay, and we want to get this nice and flush with the top of the actual wrapper. Make sure it lines up nicely. Okay, make sure that seam is in the back. That's fine. Close enough. Get that nice and lined up, flush with the top, just like that, and press and hold that down for a moment. And then we have a little collar. By the way, also, you want to make sure that the wrapper goes up high enough to where this is off of your table so it doesn't crush. If you happen to get it too low, you can always kind of curl the bottom so that the tie is just kind of has a little bit of a curve at the bottom. That's not going to make or break the project. I think it's still pretty cool as is, okay? And then finally, we have our little collar, okay? And we're actually going to take, and I'm going to use some foam squares on this. So I've got a series of big ones, and I've got a few small ones. And let's just kind of do a dry run here. We're going to try to get this as centered as possible over the tie. Okay, so we'll need a few little foam squares there. You could also just glue this down flat if you want. Okay, try to get that as centered as you can. And then when we bring it back here, it's going to go over a little bit. And we did that just so that you have some flexibility as far as the size of the bottle goes. Okay, but that's ultimately what it's going to look like. So let's grab some foam squares. And I'm going to use two large ones right here. We'll go one there. And actually, we don't even need foam squares on the back of it. I'm just going to put them on the front. There's no sense in having it completely dimensional all the way around. And I think that's just going to make things a lot easier. So we've got the foam squares. Again, try to get that as centered as possible, nice and flush with the existing paper that's there. Right at the top, like so. Okay. And if you're a tad bit off, the great thing about foam squares is typically they are repositionable without causing too much destruction. So you can absolutely kind of fix it. And one other little tip here is don't pull it too tight. Okay, when you put it on, give it a little bit of slack in there. There we go. Okay, so that's kind of what we want that to look like. And then back here, we're just going to glue this down flat. Okay, so I'm just going to take and put a little bit of glue right at the very end of one of these strips. And just kind of spread that out, make it nice and thin. Pull that nice and tight and press down so it's level and even, flush with the top here. Okay, hold that down for just a second. And throw a little bit on the other side. If you want, you can kind of spread that out to the very edge and bring that over. And just try to get that nice and lined up. Mine's gonna look a little weird because, again, my bottle is not completely straight, but that's what we're looking for, okay? Now, if you want to, you can kind of pull that out a little bit just so it's not sinking in. And that's pretty much it. I also, there's little score lines that we cut around the collar. I filled those in. I just used a pencil. And of course I did some shading with some ink there. But that's pretty much the end result. And then of course we have our tag. I inked this. Again, there is a print to cut element in your extras folder should you decide to use that. We're just going to take this and glue it to this little scalloped shape. Make sure you get that nice and centered. Use the little circle there, the hole, as your initial guide for placement, and then press that down. Make sure it's nice and centered. And then I've just got some gold cord. Oh, by the way, you can take and glue a little gold pearl or whatever you have in the center. Just a nice little touch, nice little embellishment right there. Or do it up however you want. You've probably got a stash of some cool bling that's just wanting to be used up. So make sure you glue it down though. Never use the sticky that's already part of it. That stuff will not stand the test of time. Pop that right in the center. That looks cool. Okay, and then let that sit for a second. That's probably dry, and of course, you can add a little tag to your wine bottle. Put a little message on there if you want. You can certainly do a print to cut, or if you have little pens and you want to write a message, if you have like a single line font, or even bubble fonts work fine. Just tie that, and we'll trim it. And just pop that right over the top of the bottle. And you've got a quick, cute little extra gift for Dad. Or of course, you can absolutely use this for pretty much any occasion. But there it is. Very cool, very quick, and very cute. So that's gonna be it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please take a moment and visit us on YouTube. And hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you ring that bell so you get notifications anytime we release a new product, whether it be paid or free. And if you make this or anything from our Celebrate Dad bundle, I would love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, or you can type in this little URL that you see here at the bottom of your screen. So anyway, happy Father's Day, or if you're taking this to maybe a graduation, a retirement, whatever it may be. Hope you have a joyous occasion, and as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and also please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where we have over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly videos. I look forward to crafting with you soon.